again, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Icey Cast with myself, John McKellar, and of course, the Invisible Man, Jamie McDermott.
Hello, everybody.
It's good to hear your voice, if not see you, Jamie.
Good to see you,
First off, apologies to everybody who was looking forward to the Greasy Strangler episode last week. We ended up not being able to get that in. And we wound up just taking the day off last week because we've had a bit of a shitstorm going on outside of the show and stuff like that recently, both of us, I think. So we decided not to bother last week and to take a wee break. But we're back tonight, and tonight we are continuing with the Names of Games series. Excuse me. This is what happens when you try to eat cheesy pasta.
It's
countdown is kicking
fucking choke live on air.
Yeah, that would be. I mean, it would be something. At least
get some numbers. Get some numbers.
Damn good TV is what I call that. But sorry for no doing a show last week. In terms of the latest news, we Icebox Glasgow, Jamie. Obviously, we have the sound booth, which is still in pre-production. We've got Bloodbath Burlesque, which I think is probably something that's going to be on the sidelines until after sound booth, or at least until we're well into the making of the film sound booth.
Yeah, and the thing is, I don't want to do that. I want to get back into the Bloodbath Burlesque stuff, but like that was going to be not scheduled until after summer anyway. So I'm quite happy still to do that. Anything like that, for now on, I want a really good fucking run it. None of this try to do stuff and try to rush anything. I'm not for rushing anything at all anymore. So the more time we can take on stuff, the better. It just leaves a better end product for everybody.
Yeah.
So the more time we can
slow
put
and steady
something.
wins the race, mate.
Yeah,
slow
that's
and steady
exactly
wins the race. So what's the latest news other than that, man? Like what's happening with Icebox and stuff like that? Try and drag this out as much as you can.
We're at bars now, set up. Like I'm trying to. That's me started to say that the pet food bank is back open again. So obviously it's based in Cardonal just now. That might be good for people that are living up this way and couldn't access this before. I don't mind dropping stuff off to folk because they'll be. Hopefully, I mean, it's quite a big area up this end as well. We're getting to our Pays Road West, so I've still got all the pet food for that. That's it, kind of ready to kind of get distributed again, just when people, as and when they need it. So it's a case of just, as usual, get in touch with the page or contact me through messages, which some folk have done before. So that was the last thing I was setting up there. Apart from everything else, it's just, as you were saying, slow and steady wins the race. We're just kind of plodding through it now. A lot of it's waiting on emails coming back for other folk. Everybody is taking as long as we are. So it just seems to like these things.
I think that on top of slow and steady, I think streamlining things and cutting things into specific focus is going to be a big thing for us in the next wee while.
Aye, well, workflow is definitely a thing. Workflow should always have been like that. Getting the chart done, and so we know exactly what we're doing ahead. That's why, I think I jumped the gun a bit by looking for the go-go dancers, because we need to know exactly when, like, what funding we'll have available first, when we're shooting, because you don't want to say to people, right, we really want you, and then we might have to change that person. The folk that we've got on board just now are quite flexible, because that's the stuff that we're asking them to do is what they do. They've already said that they're quite flexible with times now. We can't really get anybody that we really want involved in it who isn't as flexible with time when we don't have a time nailed down ourselves for it. So it's about working smarter, basically. And getting a good rhythm done, getting a good workflow, getting a good chart done. So we'll get all that done. That's getting done as we speak. So,
you know who always works smart?
Who?
Earthworm Jim, and that's the first game that we wanted to cover.
Exactly, segue. Jesus fuck.
Captain Segway returns. I've been looking it up on Wikipedia because while I played it on the Mega Drive as a child, I don't really remember a whole lot about it. But 1994 running gun platform game, apparently. Talk to us about Earthworm Jim. I never actually finished
I played it. I played it the same, so I've been a Mega Drive. That was one of the things back in the day I didn't have. I had a Master System, and I think I also had the Nintendo for a bit. right onto the PlayStation after that. But there was always a friend that had different game systems to you. We knew this one guy who had the Mega Drive and had pretty much every single fucking game going for it. And one of the most popular ones to play when we were up was Earthworm Jim. It's just a really fun kind of 2D side-scrolling one. One of your kind of platformers that there was a lot of ones that copied it when it came out. It was quite funny though in an adult way. It had a lot of weird jokes in it. A lot of strange. Very much like your. Trying to think what they're called. See, you're all kind of even Cartoon Network. You're all kind of stuff like that. It's kind of adult level.
More like Ren and Stimpy.
Well, that's very much Ren and Stimpy. That was what I was looking for. I was trying to say it's a fat dog and a wee cat, or is it a wee dog and a fat cat? So it's one of the two things anyway. So, but it's that kind of humour. There's a lot of weird kind of levels in it. I think there was one that you had your pet dog, and you had to get your dog safely through a level. And any time that you done damage to him, he would bite you, I think, and take more damage after you. Also had crazy fucking boss battles. Stuff like Psycho, Queen Slug for a butt, Evil the Cat, Bob the Killer, Goldfish, Major Mucus, Professor Monkey for a head exclusive. Like these are all fucking. It's even got Robot Chicken, which made their appearance in that game, and then all the cartoons after it. It's absolutely crazy. I like all the split kind of screens that you get with it as well. There's a lot of stuff to do with cows in it. I don't know what that's got really to do with it, and I've got kind of semi-memories of being quite confused about the cow stuff, but I mean, I've got quite a lot of kind of weird memories of playing loads of bizarre games for like Taz or that kind of stuff.
Oh, that era was quite mental for it, like Zool and
Dynamite games that were kind of battering it. You were getting Mega Drive
like Dynamite
and Nintendo.
Headdy that I mentioned the other week as well.
Aye. Well, there you go. There you go. I had to type in. I had to find out what cow was. So I typed in Earthworm Jim cow. So Jim's a normal earthworm until a special super suit falls in the sky and allows him to operate much like a human, with his worm body acting as a head and the suit acting as a body. Jim must evade the game's antagonists who want their suit back. The game plays out with Jim succeeded in his quest of meeting Princess what's her name. However, she's crushed by a cow that Jim launched into space at the very beginning of the game. So there you go. There's your wee cow bit as well. It was a really fun game. It was only a one-player game, but you just kind of battled through it, you know. I don't actually play. I've never played Earthworm Jim 2. Weirdly, I came out in 1995, so not that far after it. And I just at that point, I don't know. I think I'd moved on to some other kind of games or game systems. So, as you know, with the stuff that I'm really into, I'm more a strategy guy. So this is kind of left wing for me. It's either strategy or kind of horror I was into. But I think that goes to show just how quality the game was itself, that it even got me kind of interested in it, where it not being the type of game that I used to play. So
yeah, I remember playing it. I don't think I didn't get especially far in it. I certainly never finished it, but I did play it on Mega Drive back in the day, and I liked it. Like you say, it was just a fun game. Like it was just really off the wall, sort of slapsticky fun. And like you say, it did kind of it did sort of evoke thoughts of those kind of prime time or late night, more adult centric cartoons.
Well, I didn't actually see. Yeah, there was a cartoon of Earthworm Jim. Just reading about it just now. Kids Warner Brothers only went for 2 seasons, 1995, 1996.
Don't remember that at all.
No, I don't remember that at all. But I mean, go back to that kind of time, I'd have been more into the games than I was kind of watching stuff. So, and it might just might not have been as popular as the games. So, but very, very cartoony, very kind of adult in its humour, and it just had enough crazy to kind of keep me interested. So I thought Earthworm Jim definitely has to be fucking in there for the ease.
Yeah. You know what was crazy?
What?
Echo the Dolphin, and that's my first one tonight. Decades before Goat Simulator, there was Echo the Dolphin.
Which is it's another weird game, mate. I want to say people how much we struggled with ease. Like, I don't mean the drugs. I don't mean taking like lots of ecstasy, but we did at one point. But it was so difficult to find decent stuff that started with the letter E. And even I kept thinking, oh, evil. There must be loads of evil games. I went, no, they all start with another word, and then it's evil after it. So
it's like the E. Although if it's the, then it counts as E.
Yeah.
So like the evil within would be under E.
Yeah.
But anyway, so Echo the Dolphin. You play as a dolphin who travels through time, and has to fight invading alien forces. You eventually go to the lost city Atlantis at one point, and it's just crazy. And like the actual kind of gameplay is just being a dolphin.
I don't think you kill it, do you?
I don't know if you kill things, but like you can
you use sonar or something. You get stuff out your way. It's weird.
No, you can like ram things at high speed. But yeah, I think it's merely a kind of brain teasing sort of puzzly atmosphere, if I remember rightly. I remember playing it with my cousin Tracy for hours and hours on end, and we just couldn't figure out what the fuck was going on and what we were supposed to do. We kind of ended up stuck in the one area, and at one point, I think we just kind of thought to ourselves, "This might be the game," like maybe the game is just to be a dolphin in this area.
That might just be it, mate.
Yeah, like sing. You can sing like a dolphin. You can like leap up out of the water, and
there was a lot of different ones, mate. There was like Echo the Dolphin, Defender of Time, Echo Junior, Echo. There's like 5 or something here.
It's like a full-on franchise.
That's weird.
Imagine how good a current gen Echo the Dolphin game would be.
I mean, it would be good, but again, would it just be the same thing where you'd be playing it and then halfway through you're like, I'm just a dolphin here. I'm not doing anything. I'm not doing anything or getting anywhere.
I mean,
is this a game? Is this real life, John?
Maybe that's it. Maybe true nirvana is realizing that you're just a dolphin.
Just a dolphin solving puzzles, moderately difficult puzzles.
Just really bad at it as well because you're a fucking dolphin. You know what I mean? Like, crazy shit, man. Echo the Dolphin. What year did it come out? I've got it up here. It came out in 1992 for the Mega Drive.
I think I've definitely played it. I think I think when I go to Mega Drive, I think my mate got his Mega Drive. I think he got it with a lot of games with it. He bought it as a package deal, and I'm sure Echo the Dolphin was always with the package deal in the shops. You always got it. It was out for like Sega CD and stuff as well. So
yeah.
Aye, but I don't know if it's one I'd go back to. I don't know if I'd revisit Echo the Dolphin.
I remember that because if you leave the water, your air meter, because you got like an air meter, and your air runs out, and your health can be replenished by eating fish, which makes sense. There's a brilliant line in the Wikipedia article for Echo the Dolphin. You can sing to clams.
That's kind of weird. That's a weird thing. Get on a t-shirt. I sing to clams.
I sing to clams. I'm the clam singer.
Aye, that's bizarre.
Never mind the wedding singer. I'm the clam singer. But yeah, Echo the Dolphin, man. Like you're a dolphin. You're a time traveling dolphin who fights alien invaders, and there's like 400 million games in the series. That's really all I've got to say about Echo the Dolphin. You wanted to talk about Evil Dead: Hail to the King next.
Yeah.
That's a survival horror, isn't it? From PlayStation.
Aye. As well, I had it quite early for the PlayStation. Again, horror fan, and anything Evil Dead, it'll just catch my eye right away. It was available for PlayStation, Dreamcast. You can get it on the PC as well. I had it for the PlayStation, and I thought it was absolutely fantastic game. It was a bit clumsy at points, but I mean, you're still Ash. You still got a chainsaw. You're back at the cabin in the woods because you keep having really bad dreams. And then once again, you need to face all the deadites, skeletons, possessed hillbillies. There's a lot going on, and it is just a kind of melee, cutting through as many fucking things as you possibly can. It's a fun game. Again, anything Evil Dead will be funny. So
yeah, I'm going to make a reveal that's going to disgust you, Jamie.
What?
I've never seen The Evil Dead.
That's fucking abysmal. What?
I've never seen it.
1 or 2?
Any of them.
You've not seen any of the Evil Dead. I mean, you've not seen George, you're a prick. So, Like, I just don't know what's going on with your head, John. I just don't know what's going on with your head.
I've read Jaws. I've seen more
It's not
Jaws
the
than
same.
you, mate.
It's not the same. It's different. It's a different shark.
I've seen more Jaws than you've seen, mate. Right?
I don't think so. I don't think so, John. John, like I've seen Jaws about 20 odd times. Unless you've read that book fucking 20 odd times, then no. And you know what? As good as the book is, it's bleak as fuck. You want to be able to sit and read that 20 odd times.
I didn't like the book. That's partially why I've never seen the movie.
I much prefer the film. I didn't like the movie are two totally different things, I think so. But I just don't know what's happening with that, John. I don't know what to say. So, like, I'm sitting here talking to you about something that I absolutely love, and I'm like, I had to buy Evil Dead because it's Evil Dead, it's Ash, it's a chainsaw, it's boomstick, Deadites, Cabin in the Woods, you're fucking everything that you want, and you're like, I don't understand.
Cabin in the Woods is a good film. Yeah, I know. I do feel a wee bit guilty about it, but at the end of the day, that is what it is. I guess I'll take that. I'm what I am, mate.
The thing is, like, one of the things I do like about the Evil Dead game as well, it's very much it's of the PlayStation time. It's that same kind of graphics as well.
The blocky tank controls kind of stuff.
It's done a wee bit better. Like it's done better than the Resident Evil ones for the original PlayStation, I think. But it still has that. It's got that feel to it. Anytime you put on a game new, when you play like that, then you get that kind of. It's like reminiscing about the games you used to play kind of years ago. So it's definitely got that whole feel to it. It's got it doing like I've got it listed here as a survival horror. I mean, any horror game's a survival horror, then, but it is. It's
isn't it?
It's just
a horror is to survive.
Aye, it's a side-on kind of melee, kind of walking through stuff. It's really good. I really enjoyed it. It's one of these games that I would tell anybody to get and play. I'm probably going to go back and visit it myself and see if it's as good as I remember. But again, like all these things, PlayStation has probably made my time when I was right in the game. That's the kind of games that I remember for the first PlayStation.
See, we would be probably remiss if we didn't utilize the fact that I haven't seen the Evil Dead to your advantage. We should just watch it together and then do a podcast about it.
I mean, I'd watch Evil Dead. Evil Dead, I'd watch it all the time. I'd much prefer to watch Evil Dead than fucking. Can you say Strangler, mate?
It's happening. It's going to happen at some point. I made a promise.
Right, okay. But I would even say, like, I would take you right into Evil Dead 2. No Evil Dead. Right. Go right for Evil Dead 2. Evil Dead 2 is a film that he wanted to make.
Is it totally mental?
Evil Dead to make that film. Like, that Evil Dead 2 is what he wanted. So watch the film that he wants to watch. So.
Yeah, I mean, we've got like near enough an hour of fucking podcast to fill up every single Monday, so I'm sure we could do both.
Aye. We'll be able to get them. We'll be able to get through it. I mean, films are generally on for longer than an hour, mate.
We only need to talk about it for 25 minutes, half an hour.
That's true. I'll give that. I can probably. I'm sure, like, you'll be so fucking amazed with Evil Dead 2, though. You want to spend the full, like, 45 minutes chatting about it because you just be like, how have I no fucking assaulted my eyes with this before? How have I no had this inside me?
Do you know? I mean, I've been busy. I've had other things inside me that took precedence.
That's fair,
do you know what I watched this past Wednesday, which I really liked? Ex Machina.
Oh, aye, yeah, that's good. It's a good film. It's weird.
I'd never seen that either.
Aye, good
film.
So
I remedied that. Yeah, that's good stuff.
Again, it's one of these quite sad films as well. So, but it's good. Evil Dead 2 is no sad, unless you think like kids getting their heads chopped off and eyeballs and mouths not sad. Then you won't find it sad. You'll find it quite funny. You probably
if you want to know why Evil Dead, it's too ridiculous to be sad.
It's too ridiculous to be sad. That's exactly it, mate. It's exactly it. Even the first one's fucking ridiculous, but the second one just ups the ante. That has to be remedied, mate. I'm sitting here disgusted myself.
Do you know what else ups the ante?
Are you going to? Is this your segue into your game? Right, go for it. Go for it, mate.
Everybody's gone to the Rapture. 2015. It was a first-person exploration game devised by the Chinese Room studio. What a fucking mental experience it is. I played through it back in, 2018, 2019. It was around about the same time I did Gone Home, which is one that I'll probably talk about in a few weeks.
Them for a while, so
I did, especially Gone Home. I'll talk about that in a few weeks, though. But everybody's gone to the Rapture. Wow, man! Like visually speaking, on PS4, it's up there among the best looking games of that generation. Gameplay wise, I mean, it's a walking sim. It's walking around investigating. Story wise is where it really kicks off and where its strengths lie.
Yeah.
Narratively in its story, it's you're basically taking the role, taking on the role of an unknown protagonist through first person view, and you're walking around this kind of wee small middle England town, and you're trying to piece together everything that's happened because there's nobody around, there's no people, there are no people around, and you're trying to figure out what's happened. What did you say?
Where have they all went?
Where have they all went? Who knows? Where's everyone gone? Who knows? You have to play the game to find out where everybody's gone.
I just like every time I think of that walking simulator, I think of like Myst. Remember Myst?
Mm-hmm.
That's to me, that's like the kind of walking simulator. I know Myst is more like walk into what you're in one room and suddenly you're kind of looking about now. But I've like, and I'm talking about it highly. I'm not talking about it as slagging it because I fucking love Myst. But when I played, everybody's got the Rapture. That's the kind of vibe I go off it. It's it's despairingly lonely. You know what I mean? You're just kind of walking about.
It's so lonely.
It's the same good vibes as like when you're out. If you're doing the Fallout and you're in the middle of nowhere, and you're just kind of running about, you could just walk about forever. And then you're like, I've been playing this for years and I've just been walking about doing fuck all, basically. So I'll pay money for this.
I know. I could actually go for a walk right now.
You could just go for a walk outside, mate, in the dark.
I think everybody's got to the Rapture story, though, is so beautiful, man. Like, it's so well told. And you never interact with any human being at any point, but you get to know these kind of characters whose stories are told in this really unique sort of way. And the characters are all so interesting and such strong characters that by the end of it, you don't really want to leave that world. You want to just kind of stay behind for a wee bit longer and get to know them a bit better.
Is there a soundtrack to it as well?
The soundtrack's amazing because it's super understated.
I don't actually remember the soundtrack.
Like super understated. I think for the majority of the game, there isn't really any music playing, but then during the kind of story sections, there's really amazing music at some of them. But like, what was I going to say there? Like, the characters, they are human beings. They're flawed human beings who have like, there's no like a good guy and a bad guy. It's just a bunch of, it's almost like slice of life, but you're experiencing it in the past, you know, and it's just really amazingly done. So everybody's gone to the Rapture. It's a great game. It's probably no for everybody because if you're expecting to be able to, like, there is zero action in this game. Like, there's no even any like dialogue options. You're
I'm pretty sure you can't even walk fast in it.
You can.
Can you? All right.
You can walk at a brisk pace. You can't even run.
Right.
You can't run, but you can go from a gentle stroll into a brisk walk.
Fuck me doing that too much.
Yeah. So it's you do very much you experience it very passively, and you can't interact with the story. The story's already been told by the time you arrive. You can only see it play out as it played out.
Okay.
It's fucking brilliant. I don't want to talk about it too much because I don't want to spoil it for anybody that hasn't experienced it before.
Yeah.
I would recommend that people play it if they've not already. And if you have played it, comment below the stream and let us know what you thought of it. As is the case with all of these games, we do want to encourage a bit more.
I want folk to play them.
We want to encourage more.
Shit. Like, I don't mind that. I don't mind that.
Yeah, we want to encourage a bit more discussion as well. Like, you know, we want people to watch the show or listen to it if you're on Patreon, and leave us comments and like and share it and all that good stuff. Subscribe to us on YouTube and on Twitch. It's at Icebox Glasgow. all that good stuff. You know what else is good stuff?
As I should say, you've not played this other one, John. It's going to be brief. It's a Spectrum game. It's going to be brief.
Is it Escape on the ZX Spectrum? That's that's good stuff.
Jesus. You know what? It's good stuff. It's very similar to another game that I've always played on the ZX Spectrum when I had it. I had the ZX Spectrum. That was the one with the. I'm pretty sure that was the first one I had. It had the side tape deck that you plugged into it, and it had the rubber keys. And then the 128K I had afterwards, which was the one that the tape deck was built into the keyboard. It's fucking like magic, mate. So this one, 3D, it's called Escape, also known as Monstrous 3D or 3D Monstrous. There's multiple cases where they just change the words about. It's a simple kind of, I don't know, you're looking down. It's a escape the maze type game. It's you up against dinosaurs, and you need to essentially, they only go kind of half as fast as you, but there is every fucking minute or something that you're on the map, another one appears and there's like 6 or 7 of them, say. And you need to find an axe, and then you find your axe, and you can go and escape the maze by cutting open the door, and that's you at the maze. That's all it is. Underneath it, there's 2 things that says, you now have the axe, or you need to find the axe. That's the only wording underneath it.
That's what's to live by, mate. What's to live by.
It is. You now have the axe. You're like, or find the axe. That's it. That's kind of how I live my life as well. They know I don't have the axe, so after this, I'm going to have to go find the axe, John. It was released in 1982. I think I played it a few years after that, because in 1982 I'd have been 3. I think it's still probably beyond me then.
You definitely didn't have the axe when you were 3.
Was that? I didn't have the axe. I had to find the axe.
You were just like, Daddy, what's an axe? Your dad's like, what? And you're like, Daddy, I need to find an axe.
But like a lot of the games, again, like Wizards Warriors and stuff, it's got a charm to it, and every single level's so very similar. Like when you get stuff like horoscope skiing and stuff like that, like the levels are so similar. All the days get faster and things are slightly in different places. That's it. I remember this one, once you get the axe, you need to run like fuck, because then everything else goes faster than you rather than half speed. So it's just one of these it's very addictive for being absolutely nothing. I think that's probably the best way to talk about a lot of the Spectrum games. And these are all games, again, from my childhood, I love them. I could definitely play them now.
That's what I love about games like Columns or Super Hang-On or like Italian Nightmares. You know how the stuff that you got on like the Mega Games cartridges where it was like Golden Axe? It's just fucking, it's dumb fun. Beast on Oz, another one. It's like just dumb shit. And you're just kind of brainless. It's just punch,
just constantly. Wizards Warriors, the one that I remember playing as well, that was very much like this, except rather than dinosaurs, you're up against wizards and warriors. And some of them could shoot at you, some of them could just run at you. But I remember that I could never complete it, and I don't know if you could, because every time you thought you completed it, it just gave you the same games, the same levels to start, but faster. And it got ridiculous. It got to points that you just couldn't fucking do it anymore. And I know there was games, like games like Strontium Dog that you had on again, you go back to the Spectrum, you had Strontium Dog game that was never completed by the developers. Developers weren't getting paid enough. They ended up quitting before the project thing, and they made the game impossible to beat. So there was like the very last level, when you go to the very end bit, you would just insta-die. Somebody would pop up and shoot you. And I played that so many times, thinking I must be doing something wrong. Until years down the road, I learned that there's lots of games for the Amstrad Commodore, the Spectrum, that were uncompletable. They just couldn't do it because the developers either
would that have been about,
or they didn't.
Would that have been around about when the crash happened? The video game crash?
I mean, it could be. They're all about, I'd say they're all kind of mid to late 80s or even early to late 80s. So
because the crash happened in 83.
That's about right then, aye. But I mean, a lot of them just weren't. They were either not getting paid enough, or they were told they would get paid after a project was finished, but they didn't trust whether we get paid or not.
Yeah.
And some developers just didn't like working for certain managers, I'm guessing, like none of his day. And they would just make the game impossible to complete, knowing full well that their bosses are never going to fucking play the game at the end anyway, so they just don't know.
Yeah.
And it was years later. Again, it was a computer magazine that I was reading, and it had a full bit in the magazine talking about the games we could not complete. I was like, hold on a fucking minute. And it was like all the games I loved. Strontium Dog, Wizard Warriors, all that.
But, right, see if like you get to that last room and the guy pops up and shoots you, and that happens to everybody. Surely that's the ending.
I mean,
so
it
if you think about it,
is.
you did complete it.
I mean, it pretty much is, yeah.
So there you go. If you think about it, then you did complete it.
I can remember the last scene so vividly. I remember the wee guy, just you kill the wee guy and you're thinking I'm scot-free. And as soon as you move to get close to the bit, another one just materialises and shoots you. So it's like it pops up for the wee side of the door. It's mental.
It's like the original ending of Clerks.
Forever. What's that?
It's like the original ending of Clerks.
That's right. Oh, aye, the brutal ending. Yeah, yeah. Except
I prefer that ending.
Aye, I've seen that ending. I'm pretty sure. Is that on the DVD, special edition DVD?
So the version of Clerks that I had in DVD, I don't have it anymore. I think I gave it away, or I might even have donated it to Icebox. But Clerks X was the version I had, and it was like a box set, and it had the cinematic cut and the original director's cut, which is the version where Dante gets shot at the end.
That's it. Aye.
I preferred that version. It was much darker, much bleaker, and I thought it was a hell of a lot funnier for that reason.
I mean, you are you though, John. That pretty much takes your boxes. So
I have a very bleak and dark sense of humour. It's true.
Don't let the voices win, John. Don't let the voices win. Find the axe. Don't have the axe. Find the axe. So anyway, right, that was Escape.
Yep.
That means you can segue. I don't know how you're going to segue if you escape into your last one, John, but
no, it's the last one, Jamie.
Right.
ESPN NHL hockey for the PlayStation 2.
Right.
So there's a couple of legendary hockey games that have been released throughout time. NHL 94 is the gold standard. I don't know if you've heard of it. Don't know if you've ever played it, but NHL 94 is considered by a lot of hockey gamers to be the gold standard of the greatest hockey games of all time. And broadly, it's hard to argue. However, ESPN NHL hockey or NHL 2K4 is, in my opinion, the best hockey game ever made.
Controversial, John.
It's great. It's such a great game. There are so many amazing wee things you can do both on the ice and off it in that game. Like you have like a whole office where you can kind of just chill out. You can play air hockey in your office, and you can play two-player air hockey.
Right.
And there's like a whole like wall, and there's if I remember rightly, it's like a staircase. And up the wall of the staircase is different jerseys. And like as you play, you get points and you can unlock the jerseys. And it's just crazy depth like that. And that's even before you get on the ice. And then when you get on the ice, it's just one of the most fun hockey games that I've ever played to play, gameplay wise.
That's also Gameception.
Yeah, and it's also it's just so fucking chock full of amazing game modes as well, which for a sports game is what you need. The more great game modes you've got, the more fun you can have with it, and that's why that era of sports games, ESPN NHL hockey, NBA Live 2K5, and ESPN NBA Basketball 2K5, such deep games that are still fun to play.
Yeah, I've never played a lot of
All-Star Baseball. Madden was way better back then. FIFA was probably better back then.
Right.
So yeah, ESPN NHL hockey, it's for me the best NHL game ever made, and that will be controversial because there'll be people who say NHL 94, and I can get it. I get it. I can dig, man, but like that's my personal favorite.
Never been a fan of. I've never really been a big fan of sports games. I obviously
Yeah.
played football once, but
Yeah. I
when it
don't
comes
think
to
you're
like,
massive. You were never even massive into FIFA or ISS or anything like that, were you?
no, really, no.
Let me ask
Just
you
like,
that. Actually, let me put that to you. Were you maybe a Pro Ev ISS guy or were you FIFA?
that's a difficult one. Probably pro, I think.
Right.
I think so. Actually, aye. That's again. It's just because it's the one that I played more too. So. I did a lot of international superstar soccer and that kind of stuff as well. But
Yeah.
like the only sports games I remember playing years ago were like a blood sport and that. So
Aye.
aye, that's the kind of ones I was into. Or like street trash and stuff. That's sweet. That's sweet. There's a street thrash. I think it is. You're on a bike, so you've got a chain. And you're racing each other.
Road Rush.
Road Rash. That's the one.
Yeah.
That's the kind of
Yeah.
sports ones I'm into, mate.
Wallop the guy with the club.
That's it. Aye.
Yeah.
I just
I was always
like, I've not really, but you're a sport person. You like playing sports in real life as well. I was never really like fucking playing sports either. So I guess it's what you know. So I mean, I don't like running through dinosaurs with axes either. But there you go. That kind of shits on my idea there.
That reminds me. Where the fuck's my award?
I don't know. It looks like you just lost your mind.
My award's missing.
You just lost your mind, John.
I've lost my award. What the hell, mate? I've got a shit, man. Now I'm going to sound like a pure senile old man in a funeral. I won an award for baseball. Aye, all right, Grandad. Let's get you back to your room.
Mate. It's on your feet, John.
It's just like it's like a monolith behind me, like 2001: A Space Odyssey. Yeah, ESPN NHL hockey, man. Like it was such a great time to be a hockey fan. I think the early 2000s, and that game was kind of the apex for me. I sunk so many, probably hundreds of hours into ESPN NHL hockey, and then I gave it away like an absolute dick. Well, so I probably need to try and pick it up. Yeah. That'll do it for I guess for the night. Let's just close. Where can people find us online? They can find us at Facebook, and it's at Icebox Glasgow for general Icebox page.
Yep.
And at ICEYCAST Pod, ICEY Cast CAST pod. Excuse me. You can find us on YouTube and Twitch at Icebox Glasgow. Like us, subscribe to us, follow us. We need followers and we need subscribes and we need likes. We need to start to grow this show, man. And get people listening and get people chatting. You know, we want people to chat. We're doing it live every Monday night. We want people to chat with us. You can also become a member of our Patreon if you want to support us directly. It's only £3 a month, and it's at patreon.com/iceboxglasgow. We've not had any new Patreons for ages, so get in there, man. Like, come. That's the kind of quality content you can look forward to if you become a member of the Patreon. Also, be sure to like and follow the Fright or Flight Promotions page on Facebook, because that's where you'll get all the updates on Soundbooth, which is the independent horror film that Jamie and I are making. Jamie's going to be director. He wrote it. It's a really good script. I enjoy the script a lot. I'm going to have a wee role in the film. It's going to be an amazing project, and we're also going to do a documentary about making it.
Yeah, I've got tons of shit. That's one thing I've been doing. I've got like lots of content already for that. I've got it all sold away on the computer. I'm actually trying to make the first part of all the content I've got to do, which is a lot more difficult when you fucking think. One, because it's all different sound levels. Jesus fuck me.
You probably need to get somebody in who knows what they're doing with that kind of stuff. Because it's like you say, you don't realise just how different sound levels are going to be.
I think it'll be all right for releasing the wee bits. Let's see, the weekly wee bits that we release is almost as updates. But at least 2 of them a week, and we'll get them up online on the pages. It'll be all right for that, because I can kind of adjust the levels for that. But when the proper documentary comes out, that will have to go away in actual editor today, because the levels for that will really need up. And it's hard because a lot of this stuff, it's like, certainly for what I'm doing as well, a lot of it's video notes I give myself, because that's the stuff I remember, because I always come in, upload what I've got onto the thing to save it. So I see them and I'm like, right, that's what I remember, that's what I have to do. And some of your video notes you're doing outside, and it's fucking windy. Or you're doing it somewhere else.
Well, we had that. We found that the hard way when we were doing Weird Box.
That's it.
The first couple of Weird Box episodes. It was just so windy.
Some of it is like I've had to like adjust the sound so it's really loud, basically, so that people can hear it, and then I have to pull the sound right back down again because the next bit it cuts onto is just me talking in like an empty room. But I'm getting there. I'm learning a lot through it. So I hopefully, fucking fingers crossed, the first video will be up in a couple of days, few days for that. So if no, something's going to be up in a few days for it.
Yeah, that's excellent news, man. Finally, it's going to be good to start getting some content out about the film. Now, what do we have coming up? Next week, we have Karl Marx versus Batman. That's going to be the theme of next week's episode. And it's going to be based around a suggestion by our good friends at Reservoir Drugs. And it is going to be based upon the concept behind one of our most popular prints that we've sold, the Karl Marx versus Batman print. So that's going to be next Monday's show. So we'll talk about that on Wednesday and talk about how we can make that as good as possible. Following week, of course, will be the letter F in Names of Games. So I'm going to talk about Final Fantasy VIII and how much I prefer it to Final Fantasy VII. And I don't want to hear any of your shite because FF8 is the best Final Fantasy. And that's all there is to it. Anybody who wants to fight me on it? Tough.
I'm not telling you where I'm at.
Aye, exactly. Fucking moon then. Fight me, your kids. And then on the 18th of March, we're going to dive back into my record collection. As it happens, I have it handy. We're going to talk about this record here. Devastator, the debut record from Chicago band Star. That's one of my all-time favourite records, and this record is super important to me. So Jamie is going to listen to this several times, and I'm going to listen to it several more times. And we're going to talk about it. I'll talk about when it came out, who they were, its impact on me, all that stuff. So that's going to be on the 18th of March. Looking forward to that one. That's a great record. So if you haven't already, get it listened to in the meantime so that you can chuck your comments into the chat and we can discuss what you think of the record. It's Star, Devastator. It's on streaming platforms and stuff like that, so check it out.
Cool.
That's us done for the night, Jamie. And I shall bid you good night.
I'll see you later. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.